Joseph, you're welcome to the Coffee Pod. My name is Chisha Zed.
Drink the coffee, it'll make you feel better.
Black woman says, I don't date American black men, and goes viral. And why she went viral were the reasons she gave of why she doesn't. Now, I don't think she's an American black woman, or she wouldn't identify as one. Whatever. Let's get into this video and check it out. There's actually quite a bit to unpack here. Let's get it.
So I don't date American black men. I have never dated an American black man, and my reasons are quite simple. So a few days ago, I made a video about coffee dates, and I basically talked about how I would never accept a coffee date as a first date. I think it's low effort, and it's just not my thing. Surprisingly enough,
no coffee dates. Okay, here we go.
And I was genuinely surprised. 98% of the commenters and the people that were upset were American black men. So shocked because I didn't think that video would land on their For You page, but it did. And hundreds of them, hundreds, were crying on my shoulder over the fact that I would not drink bean juice on a first date with a man or with anyone.
How dare you? Bean juice? Bean juice? Put some respect on the coffee, man, please.
Were in my comments calling me all types of names, saying that I'm a gold digger and saying that I'm this and that. And then unprovoked, they started attacking me for my looks. By the way, I was so nice in that video. I did not insult anyone in that video, but they were insulting me. They were coming at me for my skin color, saying that I'm too dark and that I shouldn't have any standards. They were coming at me for my Afrocentric features. They were coming at me because I have an Afrocentric hairstyle in. Black American men honestly have this habit of attacking black women for the way that they look, especially if you are a darker skinned woman or you have more Afrocentric features. They will attack you. So the fact that they came at me for my looks unprovoked is not surprising to me at all. So
okay, I'm going to stop it right there. Just because what she said there is American black men have a tendency to attack a darker skinned woman because she's talking about the colorism and attack looks. Is that really the truth? Or is that just a consequence of getting on the internet and saying things like, I don't go on coffee dates because I think that men who take women on coffee dates are low effort? I mean, what's the difference between that and a guy getting online and saying, I don't date ugly women or I don't date fat women? And what happens? Well, then you have the women who get on there and give their 2 cents about what they think about him physically. This is a part of the internet, and it is brutal. Unfortunately, part of the consequence of getting online and sharing your preferences and the things you value within dating and relationships is that people will come at you, disagree with you. And of course, you have the trolls that attack the person physically instead of the actual problem. I've done it before. I mean, I'm sure she's done it before. In fact, we're going to check out some of her videos and we're going to contrast and compare. But to act like that's something that a certain group of men only do is just crazy, in my opinion. Let's keep listening.
Reading the comments and watching the stitches, it brought up a discussion between me and my parents about why I don't date American black men. American black men generally do not value courtship, traditionalism, or even marriage. And I'm not saying that all American black men are like this, but a large majority are. They will berate you, break you down, and take advantage of you. I don't know why, but the sight of seeing a black woman, a dark-skinned black woman, having standards really does bother them. Maybe it's because in their mind, nobody ever talks about this, but they believe black women, dark-skinned black women deserve crumbs.
Stop
Colorism is
it.
real, and they think that we deserve crumbs and that we shouldn't have any standards. I mean, I was getting so many messages and comments saying, you're dark-skinned, why do you have all these standards? The only reason why that video got them really upset was because it basically told them to do better. And they do not take well at all to being told to do better.
Ma'am, stop. You're in the United States. Nobody values marriage. It's what it is. And if you're talking about the black community, it's on both sides, right? And, you know, guys, this is a very important video because a lot of times I tell you guys that if you find a woman who's from another country, and this woman, based on her name here that I'm looking at, seems to be African. I've said a lot of times, if you run into African women, they're She's a good woman, was raised up to be a wife. She'll make an amazing wife, some of the best wives. It doesn't matter where she comes from, because most cases, I'm saying if she's not from a Western country, there's a certain way that those women are raised up that their default isn't a modern woman's mindset, right? They drink coffee. Doesn't matter where she's from, as long as she's not from Western culture and she actually values being a wife, then you'll have a good thing, right? Jamaican, Haitian, even Thailand. But you guys know what I say about bringing the women here. She has to be here and she has to get a taste of the tea and spit it out and say, you know what? I like coffee. But when it's bad with the chicks who migrate here or come from parents who are immigrants, it's bad. For example, for African women, either they're really feminist or they're really about that like gold digger, sprinkle, date outside of your race, swirl life, which there's nothing wrong. Everybody should go where they're wanted. Anybody. I encourage anybody to. But you can't deny that a lot of those chicks who are trying to date outside their race just sound like they're trying to get a bag. And you want to avoid those chicks like your life depends on it in a lot of those cases, because it's going to be a headache. Let's keep listening.
As you can clearly see, and it's because they are not required to. They are used to giving women nothing, giving women crumbs, but then receiving the world back. So when they were watching my video, they were so upset. They were like, oh, no. You want me to take you on a proper date? A proper date when all I'm used to is inviting women back to my house, or inviting women on a nature walk as a first date, or inviting women to my car to link and smoke. You want me to actually put in effort? No, I'm not used to that at all. They're literally in my comments saying, what makes you think you deserve a meal? You need to prove yourself. And when American Black men say that you need to prove yourself, that just basically means you need to go through hell and back with him.
So I'm just gonna be real. She's the energy I'm getting from her is that this chick is a divester. And while she may have problems with people attacking her personally, and I don't think that is right to do, but let's be honest, what do a lot of the chicks that think like this usually say? They'll call black men dusties. They'll encourage people to date outside the race because they'll shit on black men in general. I can only imagine. And you know what? We're going to check that video out that she's talking about the coffee. Her saying that she doesn't drink coffee, which is already a problem, right? But I can only bet that as nice as she tries to say she put it in that video and probably other videos on her channel, she comes off condescending towards American black men, as she puts it. Let's keep listening.
Don't want to put in the effort because they're lazy, they are entitled, and they are cheap. And don't get me wrong, it's not all American Black men that are like this. It's just the large majority. And that is a problem because the majority of Black American women prefer Black American men, but there are not enough good Black American men to go around.
Okay, so here is another video I found on this chick's page. And we're going to check out that coffee video real quick. But this explained everything I need to know. This has nothing to do with American black men. No. You're just looking for someone to attack. This has to do with this chick literally thinking that all black women should date outside their race and her encouraging them to do exactly that. That's where all this is coming from, right? This chick is some type of a diverse. Check it out.
If you are a Black woman, for the love of God, please be open-minded and start dating outside of your race. I'm going to include a clip from another creator who breaks it down completely. Numbers and all. He shows us how unlucky we are when it comes to dating when we are race loyal.
For every 100 men, 13% of those men are Black.
Okay, so right there, you guys saw it. This is a woman who thinks, for the love of God, most black women should consider dating outside their race. Cool, fine, right? But there's a deeper rooted resentment here for black men overall. And listen, something that a lot of dudes don't know is a lot of these African chicks are huge swirlers. Like, they're huge in the swirl community. African women, yes. Now, is there something wrong with that? I personally don't care. I'm just here trying to point that this has really little to do with what she was talking about and American black men. This woman's like, hey, just leave black men no matter where they come from, where they're at. Let's keep listening. And by the way, she takes advice from a dude. I don't even know if this guy's straight, but they would rather listen to a dude who sounds like he's gay and doesn't date men and take his advice.
Have 13 men out of 100. Now, 80% of those guys are not going to be ready for a relationship. That's across the board. Any color of guy, they're just not going to be ready if they're single. Yeah, so we go from 13 to 3. Now, if we take into account unemployment, underemployment, gay, and in prison, you are looking at 2 out of every 100 men, 2 Black men out of every 100 men that are going to be bare minimum available for a relationship. So that's 1 out of 50. Okay.
So this dude's over here sharing stats that we already know are false. These women run into good men all the time and Black men in most cases. The problem is, from what we see, they cannot cooperate with those men and usually overvalue themselves. So let's check out this infamous coffee video that she talks about. And before I play this video, I want to immediately first point out that here's a Black woman who commented, first comment, because she wants to say that, it was a majority American Black men who were against the coffee dates. This chick says coffee dates are dope with a shoulder shrug. She's like, what are you over here crying about? 75 likes. Here's somebody else who says, I'm not going to spend the time and money at a restaurant to find out I don't like someone in 3 minutes. Coffee is the superior first date. And I would add superior drink, choice, or beverage. And here's another woman who says lazy, casual coffee date. Engaged 4 months later. She's like, hey, you're calling, I'm sure in the video, she calls coffee dates lazy and casual. But she goes on to say, I was engaged 4 months later, married 3.5 years now. So we have a single chick out here who's talking about how coffee dates are low effort. And here's a married woman who's like, and we've seen this plenty of times, man. The married women are like, yo, the first date is the least of your problems. Marriage is challenging. This is how I know, man, that these chicks will be back right here on the coffee pod crying. Somebody responded back to her, said, this is fire. Here's another person who says this. Another chick here says, doesn't mean, right? So here this chick is talking shit. Doesn't mean your standards were high. It means you probably settled. The ratio of women to men is scary. Women settle faster. And so they're telling her she settled because she was okay with a coffee date and is now married. Insanity. But here's the video titled Why I Don't and Will Never Accept Coffee Dates that she made that sparked this whole conversation. No more wasting time. Let's get it.
So I do not accept coffee dates from men, and I just want to talk about it. I do just want to say that my reasons are just that, my own, so don't get under my comment section upset or in your feelings. So why don't I accept coffee dates? Well, besides the fact that I'm really not much of a coffee drinker, I find that coffee dates are low effort, they are
We can tell you don't drink coffee, man.
cheap, and they are the biggest waste of time, honestly. So when I go on dates, I truly do like to look my best because I do believe that first impressions matter. So I really do put a lot of effort into my look, and I find that putting effort into my appearance for $5 bean juice is a waste of time. So when you ask a man, why do you like to take women out for coffee dates? They will give you a bunch of reasons, and I'm just here to tell you that they will never tell you the true reason as to why they ask women out on coffee dates. They're going to lie to you, they are going to guilt trip you by asking if you need free food. If that's why you're asking for him to take you on a proper date, do you need free food? Are you hungry? And it's really just because they want the woman to be able to prove that she is worth a proper meal. I don't care about what reasons they tell you, oh, why does the price matter? It's about connection. You should only be focused. No, they don't believe in that. They really just want you to prove that you are worth a dinner.
That's not true. That's not true. When you're done with the bullshit and you understand that it's actually really simple to date somebody for a serious relationship, right? This becomes different if you're just trying to like bust cheeks out here. But for a serious relationship, people who want actual, real relationships that may lead to marriage, they want to know real things. And yes, I know if you're just dating casually, this approach works as well. But for people who want to get everything out of the way really quickly, like core values, do we align with core values? Coffee dates can really clear up and establish whether the two of you agree in what I call foundational values. I go into it more in Brew Brothers. If you're a person out here who's dating for a serious relationship or marriage, then you really want to be in Brew Brothers because we go really deep into this. There's no reason you shouldn't be in there learning about how to protect yourself. You won't get what's in there anywhere else, right? Because I don't go into detail like I do here in these videos. But you clear up those things in the very beginning, and you can decide whether you want to keep investing in the chick who you may be interested in or the man who you may be interested in. But, Brew Brothers is only for the man. Let's keep listening.
You are worth a lunch. And with that information, with that knowledge, it's honestly disrespectful for a man to ever propose to me a coffee date. I wouldn't even go on a coffee date with my friends.
Disrespectful.
My friend knows better not to ask me to have coffee with her. And I know better not to ask my friends that either because they're going to feel the same exact way. If we are going to get coffee, it's going to be on our way to the restaurant or on our way back from the restaurant. So I met a girl in class last semester who told me that she showed up to her coffee date in a bonnet, oversized sweatsuit, those black Adidas pool slides, and mixed match socks. Because she told me that whenever she was going to get coffee, she was looking like who did it and why. So she showed up to the date exactly like that. And the guy that she met up with was so upset. That's honestly why I don't believe men when they say that a date is only focused solely on connection and that all the other stuff doesn't matter. If that was the case, the guy wouldn't care about how she looked like on the date. He
Right.
would just care to get to know her, right? But
No, not really. Like, what do you think that you can just show up anyway, any way that you want just because you're going on a coffee date? And so this might be that whole, it costs me money to get ready, and so I'm not going to invest. And I'm just going to show up as I am, which is also another crazy concept. These will be the chicks, bro, who, as she gets closer, if she's not already heading that way, to 30, 35, oh yeah, she'll be accepting those coffee dates. Yeah, she'll be like, hey, pour me a cup. Fast, not slow. I just want to get this shit over with.
no, he was expecting her to show up looking all done up. It was only one man who has ever asked me out on a coffee date, and I just ended up blocking him because, like I said, because I know why men truly ask women out on coffee dates, I find it very disrespectful, and I just don't want to deal with that. So you will be blocked.
That's crazy. I'm confused. Why do men really ask women out on coffee dates? Sounds like she has a reason that the rest of us know nothing about. Let's check out more comments in response to that coffee video. This first comment says, we need to normalize accepting that other people's standards have nothing to do with us. Those are her standards and that's okay. All right, cool. But the problem is you make a video on a public platform saying that people who take people on coffee dates are showing low effort, that it's extreme disrespect. People are going to respond. People are going to give their take. Here's somebody else who says, and she said a whole lot of nothing. Somebody else here added, they're so angry because they are required to put effort, with laugh emojis. Somebody else here says, dates are for getting to know each other. I'm not taking someone I don't know to a 5-star restaurant. Another woman responded and says, I mean, I would love a 5-star restaurant, but if my man can afford it, I really don't mind something cheap as far as we going out and having fun. And he responded and says, having a boyfriend is a different story. She's talking about guys she's just meeting. I think most guys can afford to take a woman out on a date. This just comes down to being a good investor. And understand, because women don't usually pay for dates, they may not fully understand this. And what's interesting is that there are opportunities where a man who usually does coffee first will get to know a chick enough leading to the first date that he's okay taking her out to eat because she's proved that she's worth a second date. And yes, you do have to earn the next date. What world does this woman live in where she doesn't think she has to earn anything in her life? Somebody else here added, the funny thing is you're missing out on the men who would take you out to dinner if the coffee date went well. I've done that before. I want to see some chemistry before dropping $100. makes complete sense. Here she responded back and says, I don't view it as me missing out on anything. As I said, I wouldn't even go on a coffee date with a friend. It's a waste of my time personally. So how is a coffee date with a friend a waste of your time? It's the coffee date in particular. I don't get how the friend thing, that makes absolutely no sense. Because if you're with the friend, you're spending time with them for different reasons. There's another comment that says, I like coffee dates if I don't know you. Oh, another woman. She goes on to say, if I don't like you, I don't want to wait for a whole dinner. She goes on to say, dinner is like second date or directly after coffee if the vibe is right. I'm telling you guys, the difference between the chicks who are commenting and they can understand why men would rather do a coffee date, they are closer. They are chicks who have realized that they don't have all the time in the world. And they're not trying to live this whole upscale life. They actually understand that relationships are more than just dates, right? They understand that relationships, the benefit of relationships, are more than just the first date that you go on. This is just crazy. Of course, I'm curious to know what you guys think. Leave your comments down below. As always, I appreciate you for checking out yet another episode of The Coffee Pot. Till next time, I'm out. Peace.